Welcome to No Fun Channel. I'm Felix. I saw an article that reminded me of a situation I was in when I was younger. It was Gen Z grad with 2 degrees, breaks down in tears, sharing her response she received from minimum wage employers from or after handing out her resume. The upside is I had money saved up, so it wasn't that bad. And I was able to get unemployment. But even when I was searching, I couldn't get a job because they would see my resume, they would see my degree, and I was even applying for a minimum wage job. I couldn't even get a job at a gas station. They wanted me to take a math test. Like, I got a college degree, you want me to take a math test? Now that I'm older, I can say there's a lot of people with degrees that shouldn't have them. But that aside, still, it was like a slap in the face. Like, most of the people in here didn't graduate high school, but you want me to take a math test. And then they had those personality tests. I don't know. Oh, God, I hope they still don't do that. I haven't seen them lately. They wanted you to take a personality test. It's like, why? But in the end, I had to use connections to get a job at McDonald's. Let me say it again. I had to use connections to get a job at McDonald's. Even when I got the interview, the manager just looked at my resume and said, thinking, you'll be gone in a week. I was like, I've been unemployed for a while, and then people weren't hiring. I ended up staying at that job for almost 2 years, actually. It wasn't a bad job. If it paid more, I probably actually would have stayed fast food. It was an easy job. At least for me, I found it to be an easy job. And the reason I got promoted probably within a year because they hired me to do front line, and I taught myself the kitchen, so I could do both. And so because of that initiative, I got promoted. But yeah, it's sad that that's a thing, that you got all these degrees and can't get a job even in your own field. Now with her, I think it says she was trying to be an influencer, and I guess it said it wasn't working out. So she went and did try to get a job and couldn't get a job. But, yeah, I had to go and I had to reach out to my dad and be like, hey, doesn't so-and-so work there? Think he can help me get a job? I just need a job. Now I got bills to pay. So I ended up getting a job that way, which is weird that I had to use connections to get a job at McDonald's. But what's even more funny about that is that when Gen X went into the job market, we basically had the same issue. No one wanted to hire us. Or even worse yet, when computers were coming out, they still were reluctant to hire us, even though we knew more about computers. But then they went the complete opposite, hiring Gen X left and right and paying them this huge amount of money that they really shouldn't be getting paid just to show them how to open Word. And it's just weird. Unfortunately, I didn't hit that area where they were doing that. I wish I had. But then when millennials went out there, the millennials were told, we want job experience. And it's like, well, in order to get job experience or work experience, I got to work the job for. In order to get experience, I got to have a job. In order to get a job, I got to have experience. And it was like a vicious cycle for them. So yeah, so now it's Gen Z's turn to go through that and discover just how crappy the job market is. Now, I'm not delusional. I know a lot of them already knew that. The older Gen Zs knew that. But yeah, it's just, since Gen X, the job market has just gotten worse and worse. Even with the boomers retiring, they're not replacing those positions. They're eliminating a lot of those positions because a lot of those positions aren't needed anymore. They were absorbed into other departments, and with new softwares, a lot of those departments aren't needed anymore. It's really sad, actually, to be honest with you. It's just, they got rid of redundant jobs, and the higher ups gave themselves a big fat raise and try to cut everyone else's salary or pay. But then these companies want to say, well, no one wants to work. Gen Z doesn't want to work. Gen Z wants to work. They just don't want to get taken advantage of. And when they are out looking for work, you don't want to hire them. You want to just keep saying nobody wants to work, which is a lie. So, and sadly, they did that with Gen X and millennials. This isn't new. And Gen X and millennials are now the ones running the companies And they're saying the same crap that was said about us. It's like, it's not that we don't want to work. It's that you don't want to hire anyone, because if you hire someone, you got to pay them. And to make matters worse, let's say you have an employee. Let's say you have a good employee, probably your best employee ever in the company. And they say, hey, I found out this position over here is paying me, say, $10 more. Would you guys willing to match it? And your response is, well, we can give you more overtime. We can give you more hours. Like, that's not what I asked. If your response is, we'll give you more hours or we'll do things like that, you're missing the point. He doesn't have to work overtime. The employee doesn't have to do extra hours. They don't have to work extra days. They can just go across the street and get $10 more for the same job. So that's not an incentive. And even now companies are doing that. They're like, well, we'll just give you more hours. It's like, I don't want more hours. I want more pay. And they're willing to pay me to work the same amount of hours. And you're just standing here with your thumb up your butt talking about, we'll give you more hours. You're missing the point. And then they'll do something even worse. They'll go and hire a new employee at that pay. And it's like, you had the perfect employee, and instead of keeping them, you chose to go hire someone new at that pay they wanted. That never made any sense to me. And also, you got to take into account how much you're losing with this new employee. One, the new employee's got to be trained. Two, the new employee may turn out to be a dud. You had a tried and true, you had a battle-tested employee, basically. They knew the job, they were your best employee, and you let them go. And the worst part is, the reason you let them go was pride. A lot of these higher-ups will let someone go over pride. I kid you not. They would whether you quit than them admit we can pay you. They would whether you quit than admit that you're that important to the company. And then they screw themselves over. It's like, they would rather screw themselves over than keep you, is basically what it comes down to. Which is sad. It's really, really sad. But yeah, when I saw that article, it just reminded me of all that stuff. It's like, since the boomer generation, jobs have been crappy. You had the hippies out there doing stuff. And then the hippies became the corporate headhunters. They went from being hippies to the very thing they were fighting. It's like the hippies discovered, wait, I can be filthy stinking rich or a hippie. Guess which one they chose? Filthy stinking rich. So yeah, it's just screwed up out there. And fortunately, especially in America, it's not going to be fixed anytime soon. The only way it would be fixed if the economy crashed, and I mean really crashed, to where billionaires were penniless. That kind of crash. So it would just have to crash hard. And even then, those people who were billionaires would probably try to figure out some way to, work the system. And then that's when you can find out who really has the power. Because it's going to come down to who's a good talker when the economy crashes. And like all empires, it's going to happen. Honestly, I hope it doesn't happen while I'm still alive. I definitely don't want to be around when that happens, because it's going to be chaos. I'm trying not to say so much, but I got a tickle in the back of my throat, and it's making me go because I'm trying to swallow. But one thing about the article, it says something about her being an influencer. I hate to be that person, but I'm going to be that person and say, I wonder also, since she's trying to be a social media influencer, if this is for her social media. Because there are people who will do things like this. So it's like, I think like that. There was something, what was that one? Oh, I think it was the women on a cruise said some women were on the vacation. So they were assaulted in their hotel room, but the hotel is saying, yeah, we looked at surveillance and it's not matching your story, what they said happened. And I think as more came out about it, it didn't go down the way they said. I haven't looked at that lately, so I don't know if it was 100% true that they were lying or Maybe they forgot how it went down. Maybe it did really happen to them. I don't know. But I think that way even more because of so many people doing stuff for social media to get those clicks. And yeah, there have been plenty of women on social media lie about stuff like that, which is scary when you really think about it. And it's sad they feel the need to do that for likes. You know, there's better ways to get likes. Be funny, be entertaining, get likes that way. Lying about something like that, that's not the way to do it. But yeah, when I saw that article about that situation, I just thought, I wonder how true it is. I didn't want to think, I was trying to think they're lying. I don't know why I immediately thought that. I think it's because there was two of them. And they're talking about the staff assaulted them. I was like, how many staff members were in on it, first off? And did it really go down that way, or did you have too much to drink and cross the line? Because they were married. So part of me was thinking they had affairs and they lied about it to cover up. They figured, no, it's in another country. They just lie about it to their husbands if they turn up pregnant. And I think their biggest mistake was going on social media. So if it turns out to be a lie, I mean, they went on social media saying this stuff. They shouldn't. Truth be told, they shouldn't went on social media at all. That's what was bugging me about the whole situation, is that it was on social media. In my brain, I was thinking, why is this on here? Because I've known some victims, and their first thought wasn't, hey, let's go on social media. Their first thought is, you know, the whole blaming themselves and all that stuff. So it's just like, who thinks to go on social media as soon as they get assaulted? That's like the brick lady. She went on social media immediately after getting hit with the brick, which turned out to be a lie. So yeah, so when people do that stuff, when they immediately go to social media to talk about it, I'm always leery of it. Now I can understand if you're going on social media because the guy or girl's getting away with it and you want to alert the people. I can understand that. I can understand going on social media when your child goes missing, you know, trying to get the word out. Hey, have you seen my child? Please, someone help. I get that. It's a very powerful tool for that. But after being assaulted like that and going to social media, it just feels different. And a lot of times you can tell that they're leaving something out. I won't say they're straight up lying, but they're leaving something out. There was even a situation where a woman didn't realize she was filming herself, beating herself so she could set up her boyfriend. And the footage got out and she got in trouble. I don't know if she went to jail. She should have. Where was that recently? That these women who lied, or a woman who lied about men assaulting her, she got some jail time. I think there was one that even got like 5 years. But yeah, you can't be lying about stuff like that. That's a horrible thing to lie about. That's really horrible. But yeah, social media can be a powerful tool for good and evil. And misinformation on the internet runs rampant. That's why you gotta research. Oh, that reminds me, I was watching Joey, the anime man, on his other channel, Joey Bazinga. Is his last name really Bazinga? Well, anyways, he was talking about ChatGPT, and our author over there won an award, a very prestigious award. After she won the award, she said she used ChatGPT. And then they were all like, what? And she said, from one, I have to go back and watch it again. But from one, I remember she said 5%. It was a book about pretty much AI doing things for people. And she fed the questions into ChatGPT to see what kind of response she would get. And that's very smart, actually, when you think about it, doing that. So yeah, I get why she did that. But they changed the rules saying you got to let us know if you use ChatGPT. And he has said what's going to happen is if you are honest with them and say you use ChatGPT, they're probably just going to kick you to the curb. Be like, oh, okay, thanks for letting us know. Toss to the side. You know, you're out. And they're not even going to tell you you're out. They're just going to not count you anymore. But yeah, he was talking about using Wikipedia. There is a downside of using Wikipedia. I understand why a lot of professors and teachers would say don't use Wikipedia. The information in Wikipedia is not 100% accurate. There aren't checks and balances like you think there are. Anyone can access it. Anyone can adjust it. So yeah, it's not a good source. But with that said, I have used Wikipedia when I had to write papers in college. What I did though is verify the information, because there was one source that led me to Wikipedia, and then I followed the sources in the Wikipedia which connected to what they were talking about, and things lined up, so I used it. Now, I didn't cite Wikipedia as a source because they would have dinged me for it. And they were talking about using ChatGPT and all these things out there. And I've thought about this and talked about it before. You know, if I had been born in the time of Gen Z with what's out there, I would have been a straight A student. Teachers would have never known. I would have got around it. No one would have ever known, because I've done it before. Even before computers and AI and all this stuff, I knew how to research stuff. I knew how to take other people's stuff and rewrite it. It's basically what it came down to. And the teachers never knew. I know some people, they probably knew. No, they didn't. A lot of them thought I was this brilliant writer. The truth is, I was just rewriting someone else's stuff. I knew how to take like 2 paragraphs and rewrite them into sometimes 4 new paragraphs. I would just either add more words or take away words or change. I knew how to rewrite it. I would read it and then put it in my own words, and it was good to go. Really, that's all the paper is. It's just rewriting your source into new words. So I was good at doing that. But yeah, it was interesting. It was an interesting thing he had. So I'll put a link for it. But yeah, the ChatGPT being used to write books. Now, it can't do that. Like, I saw things where people were using it to write books, and I played around with it, getting to write little short stories, and they were okay. Some were really good, but other times it was like, not exactly. And I even gave it, like, I tried to get very specific on how I wanted the story written to see if it would do it. Like, I wanted a dark ending, and it still tried to give it a good ending. It's like, that's not what I said. I said I want a dark ending. And I said, I even put, well, the hero dies, but they still had it be a happy ending. It's like, you're not listening. So if people are getting to write full novels or using AI to write full novels, more power to you. But you got to be careful with that stuff, because it does borrow, and I'll say borrow. Well, no, it really steals. Let's just say let's just say it's doing what it does. It's stealing other people's work. Whether it's written or visual, the AI stuff is stealing other people's work. So when someone put I think it was a graphic novel out and try to copyright it, it's like, nope, you use AI, and we already know it steals other people's work, so you couldn't copyright it. And that's the thing. People think once something's copyrighted, well, that's it, you're out. No, you can fight copyright. I think Japan has a tougher copyright law than we do, hands down. They take that stuff very seriously. US, it's like, oh well. But no, you can fight copyrights. If someone copyrights something of yours, you can fight it. Especially if you can prove you're the creator of it, you can fight it. So don't ever think just because someone's copyrighted something that you're out. It's not how it works. But yeah, ChatGPT, AI in general, it's good. It's a good tool to have. The artwork's gotten a lot better, but a lot of people say that's going to take away artists' jobs. I don't think so. Even though the AI can do a lot with an artist, even a halfway decent artist, they can give it that little something extra. Like, say you had a client coming to you and they're describing something to you. Let's say you punch it into one of these AI programs and it spits out pretty much exactly what they want. Now listen carefully. Let's say the AI spits out exactly what they want. But as a human artist, you can give it that little extra to where you can give them what they didn't realize they wanted. So that's the advantage of being a human artist versus an AI artist. AI artist is going to give you what you want. A human artist is going to give you something you didn't realize you needed. So there is a big advantage over human artists. AI art may never get there, to be honest with you, because that requires that human touch, that human intuition, to listen to them, to pick up on things, to see things. Let's say they give you an object and say, I want to like this. And for those AIs, unless they got something you can scan it with, you're going to have to type in a description. And unless that description is 100% accurate, and even then, there's no guarantee you're going to get what you're looking for. But yeah, human artists aren't going anywhere. Basically what happened with human artists, they'll just have to evolve and adapt. They'll have to step up the game. Because even with CGI and all that, they were like, oh, practical special effects are going to go away. No, they're still around. People still use them. There's just something about practical special effects that's way better than CGI. Like with the ships have gotten a lot better. Hands down, you could always tell when it was a CGI ship, but now they've gotten a lot better. But they're not 100% there. I'm sorry, there's still times, even with these Marvel movies, it's obvious that it's CGI. There's just something about a practical special effects. Seeing the physical ship, using the physical ship, physical model. There we go. I was trying to think of the word. Using a physical model instead of 3D effects. It's a big difference. There's a big difference between the two. And it's not 100% there. I would say it's probably about 90-95% there. Because it's been going on for a long time. I don't know if it'll get there anytime soon, but you can still tell the difference. It's like the Orville. Orville's a good example. When they went from an actual model, they shot it like Star Trek. They had an actual model. They would do camera flybys and stuff. And I believe it was the first season. But by the second or third season, they went CGI, and you could tell the difference. It was a huge difference in the way the model looked, the way it acted. So yeah, there's difference. There's definitely huge differences you can see. So yeah, CGI has come a long way, but it's not 100% there. So now the AI animation is freaky. It is very freaky. I've watched a couple of them. It's just like, ooh. It's got some psychedelic stuff it does, but even CGI or AI animation is a long way off. It'll be a long time before this stuff will really start taking people's jobs. And even then, like I said, it's still, you still got to be creative. You still got to create it. In the problem right now, the reason it's not going to take people's jobs because, like I said, it steals other people's artwork. It's not creating from thin air. So basically, how I see it is you would have to get the AI to look at a database of artwork that you own. The companies will have to own that artwork. And if they own the artwork, then they can feed it into a database and then maybe they can create something that way. But like I said earlier, there's that human element. They can give it that something that AI is going to build it exactly the way you want it. Like I said, human can give you that little extra, that's something you didn't realize you wanted. So there is a huge difference between the two. So I don't see AI replacing human jobs anytime soon. I say it'll be another 20 years. I'm throw a big number out there. I want to say 20 years before you really start seeing AI replace humans. Because there's still a lot of little things that AI can't do that humans can still do. Humans can pick up on context clues. That's what I was trying to think. I was racking my head. It's the context clues that AIs miss because they can't hear you. They can't see you. They can't read your body language. So all those little clues play a part when working with other humans. So that's going to be the big thing. Can you build an AI that can do all that? Can it pick up on context clues? Can it pick up on body language? Just little things like that. And even if they do build something that can do all that, that part will probably be a long ways off. But when it comes down to, writing papers and stuff, the AI stuff, but yeah, it's a long ways off before anyone's getting replaced. So, but AI, I see the upside and downside to AI right now. Right now, it's a fun tool to play with. Unless you're trying to make money off of it, then you're going to run into some legal issues. So you need to be careful with that. Not too long ago, I saw a TikTok or a clip from a podcast, I believe it was, on TikTok. And they were talking about, I can't think of the exact word. Basically, they stated that if you're not out there hustling, you're not black. And I was just like, what? That makes no sense. And that's when I realized a lot of people don't understand the hustle or what a hustle is. Now, they equate it to a side job, and that's actually not the same thing. A side job is just that, a side job. It's a second job. A hustle was really you out there working the streets trying to make some money. You were doing what you had to do to survive. You're out there hustling, trying to make some money. It was never meant to be a status, actually. It just meant you were out there getting your money. You were doing what you got to do. You were hustling the streets, trying to make some money, trying to survive. But then somewhere along the line, I would say probably 80s or 90s, being out there hustling was a good thing. And like a lot of people, I saw it that way too. But then as I've gotten older, I realized, no, that's not what it was meant. That's not what was meant by it. You hustled because you had to, not because you wanted to. There's a huge difference. If you're out there hustling, that means you're struggling, you're trying to survive, you're doing what you got to do. And I know there's going to be a lot of people, no, that's not what it means. Yeah, that is what it meant. It meant that you were doing what you had to survive. Nowadays, the term has gotten, like a lot of terms, it's gotten rewritten what it means. Now, does that mean nobody's out there hustling for real? No, especially now, the economy's tanking. People are still hustling. There are real hustlers, and then there are people saying they're hustling. I've never said I'm out there hustling, but on some aspects, I could be out there hustling, but I don't have to. Because I got a good job. My wife has a good job. So we're doing okay. We're surviving. But yeah, hustling, the terminology for it, it became popular in rap songs to say you're out there hustling. Rick Ross even has a song talking about hustling. So yeah, it just, when I saw the article about the job and look for work, and I thought, well, she's gonna have to get out there and hustle, do what she's got to do. But yeah, it was just meant to be. It was supposed to be you're out there getting money for your family. A lot of times it's like you're out there trying to survive, trying to get money for your family, things like that, take care of what needs to be taken care of. And then it became a status symbol to be out there known as a hustler. Because there was a time being known as a hustler actually wasn't a good thing sometimes too. It was like, oh, he's out there hustling people. And I think it really started off as you were hustling people, and it became a thing where you're out there trying to survive. And now it means you're a hard worker if you're out there hustling. You're working the streets, you're getting that money, doing whatever you got to do. So it means you're a hard worker. So yeah, and it is strange when you think about words that have changed meanings over times. I forget which word it was, but there was like a Gen Z word I heard them using. Like, that's not what that word meant when I was growing up. I can't remember what the word is, but there was a couple words like that where Gen Z thinks it's a new word. It's like, no, we had that word, but it meant something different. I've also noticed Gen Z has a lot of words that refer to sex. It's like, why? It's like, why do you have so many words that refer to sex? I like slang words that refer to sex. It's like, it's not necessary, but then I think back, it's like, I wonder how many we had. We didn't have the internet, growing up. It came later in life for me. I was probably really graduating high school when internet started to take off. Showing my age again. I graduated in 94. So computers were really taking off back then, or they were just coming out. We had Windows 95 and, and it was just starting to become a thing. But, probably if we had the internet like we do now, we could have calculated how many slang words we had. But yeah, it's interesting out there, especially on social media. I was, what was I? My brain went blank again. 32 minutes has passed. I got a little clock there and counting up. But, I was worried about, not having something to talk about, but did pretty good for a half hour. But, there was this young lady on TikTok who was talking about Knight Rider, and it was real interesting. What actually caught me was someone had responded to her Knight Rider video, and I'm not going to repeat what they said, but it was a stupid response. And it's like, why did you even respond? You're just a troll responding for no reason. But, she, went down the Knight Rider rabbit hole. I even commented, about the, that's what it started off. It was the Knight Rider 2000 movie. Will they bring back, David Hasselhoff's character and Kit? I think it was the last time Kit and Hasselhoff were together. Yeah, that was the last movie because Kit was like a 57 Chevy at one point, and puts him in the new body of the new Knight Industry car, or Michael Knight puts Kit in the new body of the Knight Industry car. My first thought is, how did Michael know to do that? Even when I watched it originally, I was like, how did he know to do that? He's not a person like that. But, it was interesting to watch her go. The reason she went down the rabbit hole was because the car was repurposed. A lot of the cars from that movie were repurposed for, Power Rangers. But here's the funny thing though about the Power Rangers. The cars using the Power Rangers, they really just spray painted the cars black. It was the actual Kit car that was used. Oh, that's what it was. KIF. The first car before Kit was put in the car was called KIF because it was the Knight Industry 4000 got KIF. And the guy basically went off on her saying there was no KIF. It was always Kit. But it was the way he wrote it or the way they wrote it. I don't know if it's a man or woman. It was just like, what are you doing? And she was, from what I remember, she just explained herself and that person didn't like it and wanted to argue. So she just ignored him. I think she ended up blocking him too. It's like, you're a waste of space. But, it was over something stupid like that. It's like, I don't remember the movie exactly, but that makes sense that it was called KIF, Knight Industry 4000, or not just KIF, it was KIFST. Or something, it was something stupid like that. And then she discovered car. And then I commented about, it was a Pontiac, but I guess in the movie it wasn't the Pontiac. It was, someone had commented on my comment saying it was actually a Mustang. I forget which one it was. They body shaped it to look like the Pontiac, which was, I don't know how true that is, but I remember hearing that before. It just sounded weird when the Pontiac prototype car was available. Actually, that could be why they did it, because it was just a prototype. So they probably got some cars and just, did that to them. It was easier than trying to produce those prototypes. But she found the Team Knight Rider, and I reached out. I put a comment on there and said, don't forget about Knight Rider 2010, I think that's what it was called. It came out in 94. It was like a dystopian future. And the voice of Kit in that car was actually, I can't remember what her character name was, but she was from Xena Warrior Princess. She was the blonde. She was Xena's enemy in that one. She was Xena's rival, the blonde that she was always fighting. She became the voice of Kit. But yeah, because I remember when I saw her, I was like, she looks familiar. Oh yeah. So, what's funny though, in Xena, she was half dressed half the time. She was like a bikini warrior outfit. But I never realized how skinny she was until I saw her in that. I was like, wow, you're skinny. And they had you being a warrior. But I think if they shot Xena today, they would probably have the women get a little more physical, you know, a little muscle on them. I think it would look better and more realistic too if they were going for more realism. Get someone who's got a little bit of muscle on them. But yeah, I thought that was a nice little rabbit hole to go. Now, people were asking her if she should she watch the Knight Rider? And I meant to comment, I was going to say yes and no. Because I went back and watched Knight Rider, and it was, I remember when I was like, when Knight Rider and the A-Team and even old MacGyver stuff came on TV, I would watch it in passing, but I never actually sat down and watch it. I would have it on, oh, A-Team. But then it was on a streaming service, and I tried to watch it. Oh, man, it was so corny. It's like, I understand as a kid why I was into it, but as an adult, this is corny. It's bad acting. It's corny. And then if you apply realistic thought to a lot of these situations, like the A-Team would not have gotten away with any of the stuff they were doing. In fact, they would need to be in federal prison for some of the stuff they were doing. Knight Rider, you know, really was a white knight type of scenario with white guys coming to the rescue. So yeah, it was hard to watch. It's like, I understand why I like both of them, because the A-Team was action. Knight Rider had a car that could jump and go on two wheels and do all. They had Kit. Kit was the star. Let's be honest about it. So yeah, so it's nostalgia can be a smack in the face when you go back and watch old shows and realize how bad they really are. But then you also remember why they were so popular, because at the time they were ahead of their time. But now it's just like, ooh, I can't believe I used to watch that. But even with cartoons, there's some cartoons I've gone back and watched, and it's just like, what was I on to be watching this? Why did I like this? And because there are times I try to go back and watch old stuff, and I just can't. I'll start watching it, it's like, ugh. And then, I'm older, so a lot of stuff I go back and watch, and they make some comments, and I'm like, that was low key racist, or even worse yet, wow, did he just talk about assaulting her? You know, it was like in a cartoon, they would make comments. It was like very, very sexist. It's like there's, I can't remember what cartoon it was, but the guys pretty much told her, you know, this is man's work. Let us handle it. And the woman just was like, well, fine, if that's how you want to handle it. It's just like, she literally went to the kitchen, if I remember correctly. It was just like, did she really just go to the kitchen to fix some food? And then, I was watching something else, an old cartoon. Was it Bubblegum Crisis? It might have been Bubblegum Crisis, where the guy, even though he didn't have a suit or anything, had to save them. It was like, they're the heroes. What's going on here? Oh man, they did that a lot back then, where even though the female was the hero, they had to be saved by a guy. It's like, what's the point of having them be the hero? They shouldn't even be the hero. Even when they did Red Sonja with Brigitte Nielsen, I think they still had Arnold Schwarzenegger was in it, and they still had him come to her rescue. So it was like, or come to her rescue. It's like, who wrote this? You know, she's supposed to be the hero. I think in the end they still had her be the hero, but it's like, you know, man had to help her though. She couldn't do it on her own. Had to have a man. And that went on a lot in a lot of those old shows and a lot of those things, especially 80s and 90s. Is, God forbid you go back further. I know definitely in the 60s and 70s was rare you had a woman in the lead that didn't need a man to help her out. But yeah, just going back and watching those old shows. That's something I wanted to do. Maybe I'll try to do that too. Cause I was going to do a series. I discovered I have a second YouTube channel, and I didn't even realize I had it. I think I was experimenting on how to set up another one into my login. So I might use that one. And I was going to do the Reddit stories on that one and start doing Reddit stories. And I might just, I don't want to do too much. I'm going to burn myself out. So I might still do the Reddit stories though. I'm not going to post those as often. But I'll just post the Reddit stories when I get them. When I find one I like and get the whole thing and post it. But yeah, I have a second YouTube channel. You know, I know I went off when I said, oh yeah, that. I wanted to like look up old TV shows that I think would make good shows to redo. Here's the funny thing. I'm not a big fan of redoing old stuff. I believe you should come up with something new. Now, with that said, the reason I'm not a big fan is because every time they redo something, okay, not every time. I would say anywhere between 80 and 90% of the time when they remake an old show, it's crap. It's rare that you get say a Battlestar Galactica or what's the two they just redid? Now, I didn't like them, but they were hit shows. It's the new MacGyver and the new Magnum PI. They were on for a couple seasons. I think did they both do 4 or 5 seasons? They were on for a while. I think they just finally went off. And, the Hawaii Five-0, that one did really well too. So I know some people will be like, you just named 3 shows that did really well. Out of how many shows that got remade though? They remake shows all the time and just bomb. Then they get a couple hits and it's like, let's keep doing it. It's like, no, let's not. Let's stop. But what I was thinking is, what if you took old properties and remade them? We don't need another Battlestar Galactica. The one that was a remake was good. It was good. Don't touch it. Someone will touch it. And I know they've been trying to get the Babylon 5. Actually, that just reminded me, whatever happened to the Babylon 5 cartoon, the animated? I never did find a place to watch. I wish I could have. But, yeah, it was something. When I saw the trailer for that, I was like, I definitely want to see that. But when I think back, pretty much half the cast is dead, if not more than half. But, yeah, wait, is only 2 or 3 of them still alive out of that whole cast? I think there is. I think there's only 2 or 3. Sorry, I was looking down, trying to think. But yeah, I thought about gathering up old shows and go through all the old shows, and I think it would be good for a remake. But I was thinking more flops, because for those of you who don't know, the original Battlestar Galactica, I believe, was only on for 2 seasons. So the remake definitely outshined it. But yeah, there's some old shows that I think with today's technology could definitely probably do a lot better. There was one example is Automan. There was a lot of high tech stuff with it. That, from what I understand, it wasn't just the low ratings that got counted. It was not cheap to make. So with today's technology, remaking Automan would probably go a long way. It'd definitely be a lot easier to do. You know, people could do it in their home now. So any TV people, look at old properties that flopped, old sci-fi, even sci-fi movies that flopped. Oh, Roger Corman, that's the name. He had a lot of B movies. You should look into those. Looking for a lot of B movies and remake them. Because a lot of them had storylines, just not executed very well. So there's a lot of them. Back then there was a huge market for straight to video, and I think that market got killed. Actually, because they still make some might compare it to streaming service, but you can't really make your own movie and put it on a streaming service. With straight to video, you can make your own movie, distribute it, and that was that. Now you got to have deals with Hulu, Netflix, or whatever to get your movie streamed. You can't just be like, here, stream this, and they're going to stream it. But yeah, it's that market pretty much died, in my opinion. But yeah, go back to the 80s and 90s, even the 70s, and see what you can find. So there's a movie with Justin Timberlake where you can buy and sell your life, how much life you get to live. And that's pretty much the currency, is how much life do you have. that reminded me of a movie or a short where it was oxygen. You had to buy and sell oxygen. And this guy hustled and did what he had to get more oxygen because his family, his mom and dad died because they didn't have enough oxygen. And his sister had a gambling habit and she gambled away her oxygen. And I remember the scene, they're at a club, she gambled away all oxygen and she's trying to run to her brother to get some more oxygen. And he's trying to give it to her, but it's too late. She dies. I never could find that movie. I wish I could. I have no clue what the name of it is. I wish. It's an old movie. It's one of those straight to video movies. And I remember another movie where you weren't allowed to have kids. It was like a population control thing. And yeah, there's a lot of those movies like that, straight to video, straight to, because even back then you could get like certain networks to play your stuff. I think even PBS, your public network, would play them for you as well. But it's a lot harder nowadays to get that to do that. But yeah, there's some old movies. There's a lot of old movies. If you just go digging as a TV executive or TV person, you could probably either buy the rights to them or pitch it to someone. They wouldn't know. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there. It's just a matter of getting out there and digging for it. But, so, as I said earlier, I'm old. Graduated high school in 94. Well, I'm also at that age where you got to go get a colonoscopy. And I'm sitting there and I'm doing establishing a visit with the primary care person. And I had to get a new primary care. And she's like, well, you're over 45. Consider doing a colonoscopy. Like, no, I really don't want to do that. But then she was like, we can do the Cologuard. I was like, all right, I'll do it. And Cologuard, you basically take a dump in a bucket. And what's funny is I went to the doctor on a Monday and I got the package on Tuesday. They got it to me overnight and I didn't use it till Friday. I'm not sure why, but for the next 3 days, I could not use the bathroom. Basically Tuesday when the package came, I had already gone. I didn't even think about it. And then I got the package, so I'll do it tomorrow. Tomorrow came and went. Thursday came and went. I was like, what in the world? I was like, I think I'm constipated. I was like, I know I'm not stressed over this. If worst case scenario, I'll just go use the bathroom, forget about it. But yeah, I even tried to just go into the bathroom and nothing was coming out. So Friday rolls around. I'm like, this is ridiculous. I got to get this out of me, because my stomach didn't hurt. And I still had gas. I had a lot of gas. So I definitely wasn't plugged up. So gas was escaping, but nothing was coming out. So for lunch on Friday, I decided I'm going to get some McDonald's. And the reason I decided to get McDonald's is sometimes after I eat McDonald's, it would take a few moments. Then I got to go to the bathroom, and lo and behold, probably about 10 minutes later, I'm like, blah, 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 blah. I had to go. And I had to set that up. No, actually, I left it on the seat because I decided I'm just going to leave it there. And thankfully I did. But it was not easy to use because for my toilet seat, when you put the collector down there to take your thing, because it's a cylinder or a container about yay long and about yay high and about yay wide. It was wide enough, plenty of room. And on my toilet seat, they had this platform. The platform laid underneath the toilet seat. Then in the hole with the container on top of the toilet. So, there's a the platform. So, excuse me. Set the container down in the hole. That container sat above. So here's the toilet seat. The container sat above the toilet seat. So that's pressing on my butt. And I didn't think about it when I sat down, but it's pretty much pushing my butt cheeks together. So I had to kind of adjust. And once I adjusted, it came out of me. But it was like, when it came out of me, because I haven't gone for pretty much 3 days, I'm thinking it's going to be a lot. I'm going to fill this thing up. It was just a normal bathroom break. So I was like, I have been exercising, but I haven't been exercising to the point where my body's going to eat up everything that I've eaten for the past 3 days. It's like, what was that about? But with that said, after that, once I got it sealed up, did everything I was supposed to, probably after work, I couldn't stop going to the bathroom. So my body decided not to push everything out at once, but to go in increments. That's pretty much what happened. It wasn't until probably Sunday that I stopped going to the bathroom like every hour. So thank you, McDonald's, for flushing me out. But yeah, when they said colonoscopy, I was like, no. And then they said a Cologuard, yes, I'll poop in a container. I got no problem with that. But it was just, you gotta reach down in there. Actually, there's a little wand it gives you. You gotta touch it. It says to scrape the outside. I think I scraped it too much because it says up to the line. And I think at one point, it touched above the line, but I'm sure I'm not the only one that did that. And I sent it off to him. I went Saturday the next day because I arranged a pickup, and then I got up and I had to go do something. I had to go get blood work. So I forgot about that. And so I was like, well, since I got to go get blood work, I'll run this to UPS. And yes, in my head, I'm thinking, I'm handing you poop. So I was like, here's some poop. Please send this to where it needs to go. And I did make sure there was nothing on the outside. I wore gloves, make sure I didn't touch the box. Make sure I didn't touch anything that would be on the outside. Then I got rid of the gloves, checked the box, because you don't sit the box under the seat or anything. But you got to put all that. There's a built-in plastic bag in the box. You put that in the plastic bag, zip it up, close the box up. It has a return label on it. And I examined the box, make sure there was nothing on it. And it was all good. Because I didn't want to hand that off to someone with something on the box. And it wasn't like the box was in the way or anything. But in my head, I'm just thinking, I'm dealing with poop. I'm being extra careful. I don't want to put that on anyone. That's gross to me. Some people are into that. But still, I'm just making sure. It's just the way my brain was working. So I shipped that off. And then I went and got my blood work. And I'm pretty much almost considered pre-diabetic. And I'm pretty much considered pre-diabetic. But not yet, because it just went up and they said, I'll revisit in 3 months and talk about medicine. I don't know if I'm going to do the medicines. I have already started, working out, trying to eat better. They did talk about low carb. I don't know if I'm going to do low carb. I'm just going to watch what I eat, try not to eat as much, reduce pop intake, try to drink more water. I've been doing that already, trying to drink more water, not drink as much pop. I try to go longer after I have a pop. Like I may have one pop and that's it and no more pop. But, next month I'm going to try to do again, no pop, or at least limit my sugary drink intake. Cause I don't want to, I don't want to be diabetic, but, I'm going to work out, try to lose the weight, be better. But my potassium's still low. I have low potassium. And I still haven't, I've tried to get that taken care of, and I just hate doctors. It may get to a point where I might just give up on all this stuff and just lose the weight and figure something else out about the potassium. Maybe start eating more bananas. I'm not a big banana fan because I got sick a long time ago, and when I got sick, it tasted like bananas. What's funny though, I got sick and it had it taste like eggs, but and it tasted like eggs in my mouth. But when I got sick with the banana taste, it was worse. It hit me hard, and I think that's why I'm still not a big banana person. It's like, oh, eat a banana, and I have flashbacks. So it's like that hit me harder. It's like, ugh. So I'm trying to eat other things with potassium, trying to increase my potassium. But yeah, so I'm going to work on it. I'm going to try to lose the weight. Still working out. I haven't weighed myself in a while. I need to go make sure I didn't gain back to 8 pounds. But I have been trying to keep moving, keep working out. Like today, I did do a little bit of cardio at my desk. I'm going to try to do a little cardio every day. That's my goal. And I'm doing weights every other day. My goal is not to get ripped, but to lift the weights. I want to be able to curl 50 pounds again. That's my goal. But right now I can barely curl 25 pounds, which sucks. But yeah, I want to get to be able to curl the 50 pounds again. I can bench press the 250-pound weights, but I can't curl them. I can do the shoulder shrugs. I can do back workouts with them. I can do everything. Oh no, I can't do forearm exercise like this. I can't do that with them, but I can do the other forearm exercise down by my side. I can do a lot with the 50-pound weights, except curl them actually. Yes, curling is the only thing I can't do with 50-pound weights. I cannot curl 50 pounds, which sucks. But I'm working on it. So my goal is to get in shape. Like I said, I don't have to be ripped. I don't have to be Marvel ripped. I just want to be smaller. I like to get smaller to fit some old clothes. That would be awesome. Like my daughter found where I weighed 324. Like I haven't been 324 in years. But I would love to get down to under 300. So I just got to keep at it. So hopefully it works out for me. Otherwise, I don't want to have to, do the diabetic thing. But we'll see what happens. So I just got to keep in there, keep working out. There was one question they asked me about my vision. Is your vision blurry? I was like, well, yeah, it's blurry, but it's not because I'm diabetic. It's because I'm getting old. I made it this far in life without having to get glasses. But what's funny is I don't think there was a single family member on either side growing up that didn't have glasses. And I think their kids even wear glasses. So it's like everybody wears glasses except for me. And that's something I always prided myself on, is that I don't need glasses, But now I think I might need glasses. But what's weird is I don't know if I really need glasses because I can read everything. Everything's clear at certain points, certain font sizes, and most stuff you can just enlarge it nowadays. So we'll see what happens with the eyes. But I'm actually pretty proud of this podcast just because I started off strong, kind of hesitating in the middle, but I'm still going strong. But yeah, the job situation is not new. Gen Alpha will also go through that. They'll go out in the workplace and find, even though they got 22 degrees, they will not find any work. You'll have to use contacts probably to get a job. But yeah, it's a lot of this could be fixed if you had people who cared about other people. And unfortunately, with politics and greed, they control what goes on in the world. So unless we can get rid of politicians and find a new way to govern ourselves, none of this stuff is really going to get fixed. At least not in our lifetime. Probably not even in Gen Alpha's lifetime. So it'll be a long time down the road before any of this gets fixed. So that'd be interesting. As for that article, I think it's still up on Yahoo, my go-to news source. I don't know why I did that. My go-to news source is Yahoo. So, the only reason Yahoo is my go-to news source, I used to have something else as my homepage, and that website went away. So it was like, it just went to Yahoo. There was no rhyme. It could have been just as easy MSN. I used to have MSN, and I didn't like the layout. That's literally how Yahoo won. It was just the layout. It wasn't as busy as MSN. Theirs was just too busy for my taste. Yahoo wasn't as busy. That's really the only reason it's my homepage. I couldn't think of what else I wanted to. I don't like opening up to a homepage with a lot of stuff on it, but I don't like opening up to a blank screen either. So I found a nice compromise, which is Yahoo. But as for that article on the Gen Z, I'll put it up there. I think there was a new update on that article, actually. So I don't know if the original article is still up there, but I'll put a link for it. And as for Joey, the anime man, I'll put a link for his as well. But I think I want to wrap it up here. For next podcast, I'll do the same thing, make some notes and go with it. It seems that definitely seems to be the key for me. If I make some notes, it makes the podcast go a lot faster for me, and it definitely felt a lot smoother. So maybe I'm starting to find my footing. I just got to be a little more confident, hang in there, keep going, and see what happens. And like I said, I'm going to try to do the opposite of the voice in my head. And the voice in my head is saying, quit. Because that's what I'm used to hearing. I'm used to giving up on myself, so I'm trying not to do that right now. When I did the reviews last year, I was proud of myself. I made it all the way to the end of the year. And that's all I'm trying to do with this, trying to get in the habit of finishing things out. So, and trying to include my workout, keep working out to the end of the year at least. And now for working out doesn't mean I'm going to quit when the end of the year comes. That's just to get a routine down. So hopefully I can keep that going. When I get focused, I can stay focused if I don't get in my way. And that's what I'm trying to do, is not get in my way. So we'll see what happens. Now, I just want to say to anyone who sees this, to anyone who's tuning in, thank you. Thank you for listening. And if you're curious of how things are going to go for me, I'm going to hang in there and I'm going to keep doing it. I started doing the reviews of YouTube channels. And even with that, my brain is like, nobody's watching. But there are people watching here and there. So I'm going to keep doing it. Because I originally didn't do this just to get people to watch. I did it for me, to build up my confidence. But I'm looking for any excuse to just stop. And I'm trying not to listen to that voice. And that's hard to do when that's all you heard in your head your whole life pretty much. So it'll take me some time to get over that, but I'm working on it. But in the meantime, thank you for tuning in. I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to keep trying. So thank you for tuning in. You guys take care.